There are a lot of things that we need to take into consideration when it comes to preparing and delivering a speech. The first thing would be we need to find our volume. No matter where you are giving your speech, whether it can be in a small enclosed area or in a big facility with thousands of people, we want to make sure we find that volume. We want to make sure that we are projecting our voice loud enough to the point where our audience members in the back are able to understand our words clearly. Shyness and nervousness is a very common thing when it comes to giving a speech, especially for newer people that may not be comfortable or newer to giving a speech. And it could cause our voice to be a little bit more quiet and maybe a little shaky. This is not necessarily a good thing. This can show our audience that we are nervous and that we are shy. And it can cause our audience to make them seem like that we are not comfortable talking about the speech we are today. And it can also cause them to tune out a little bit with how we are speaking. Eye contact is another thing that we need to make sure that we are doing during a speech. Having eye contact shows the people in your audience that we want to form a connection with them, that we as speakers are talking to them. We are not talking to people in a whole, we are talking to each and every individual person. Now, if you're performing in a big facility, yes, you may not be able to lock eyes with every single person in your audience, but it is a good idea to skim and make sure you are looking at different people each time, because it shows them that you are welcoming them with open arms and you want them to remember what your speech is about. Avoiding eye contact in the speech can give off the feeling that you are not comfortable giving a speech, and it can lead to the audience tuning out and that you are not really wanting to be there and giving the speech for them. When it comes to rate in a speech, this is very important. We as speakers do not want to talk too fast, but we also do not want to talk too slow. Now, on the average, we need to speak at least 140 to 160 words per minute. That is the average. This will help the audience fully understand and be able to take in everything that you are telling them. Now, see, if we are talking to our audience too fast, our audience members might not have enough time to understand what we are talking about and let it sink in. It could be also when we speak too slow. It could bore the audience. It could seem like our speech is dragging on, and it can also be another reason that the audience can tune us out. Having facial expressions is another important thing when it comes to delivering a speech. We want to make sure that we are smiling, that we have bright eyes, our eyebrows are slightly raised. These are all things of positive facial expressions in a speech. Now, yes, not all speeches are going to be happy. Not all speeches are going to be about bright topics, but it is important to have emotion with every speech that you're giving, because if we are not showing emotion, if we're not showing any facial expressions such as frowning or just a neutral face the entire time, it can show our audience that we're not comfortable with talking about the speech. We don't have any emotional connection with what we are talking about. Enunciation is something that we need to take into consideration when it comes to the delivery of a speech. We want to make sure that we are choosing words that we are comfortable talking about, that we can confidently say correctly, because if we are giving a speech and we cannot pronounce something correctly, you never know, there may be someone in our audience that can understand that word more than you and understand what that word means. So we want to be very cautious when it comes to picking words in our speech, because if we do not pronounce a word and we sound out the word in our speech, that can make our audience seem that we are not prepared and we are using words that we were not comfortable talking or pronouncing. Gestures is another important thing. When it comes to gestures with delivering a speech, we want to have hands up, palms up. This shows us that we are welcoming our audience members, that we are, as speakers, excited for them to be today. When it comes to speeches, nervousness can hit us and we can tend to fidget. We can tend to rock around, shake our feet. This is all something that can happen. But when it comes to giving a speech, this can show our audience members that we may not be confident and we may not have been fully prepared in giving the speech. Having pause and vocal fillers is something that everyone deals with in speech. Having useful links of a pause of every topic can be about the most effective way to avoid those negative fillers. We need to stop repeating the words like, like, so, right? Those are all examples of those vocal fillers that you hear on a day-to-day basis. Posture is another key thing that we need to take into consideration when it comes to delivering a speech. We want to be sitting up straight, we want to have our shoulders back, we want to look confident. If we are slouching, we have our arms crossed, we have our legs crossed, this can show us off as a negative energy. And with this negative energy, it can make our audience not want to hear our speech, want to tune us out, makes us look like that we don't want to be there, we're not confident about what we're talking about. All of these things that I just gave examples about are very important things that comes with new speakers and to speakers in general that we need to take into consideration when it comes to before the delivering of our speech. Going through all of these examples and coming up with a plan on how you can improve it and things with the don'ts that you can eliminate. All of these are very important, and I hope this helped you today. Thank you.